Muhammad, and I'm the executive director of the Third Place. And some of my board members are here tonight. I want to make sure that I recognize them because sometimes I'm so nervous that I forget that they're in the room. Sometimes when we get people registered, we can get a lot of people registered and a few people will show up. And this time we hit the mark. So I'm glad that you all came out for our final cross-sector networking event of the year. So if you're a member of the board, please raise your hand so that people know where you are. Donnie, Flo, Kevin, so 3 of our board members are in the room. So I'm going to keep this brief. We are here at the Roux Institute, obviously. We do these events once a month, and next year we're going to try to do these twice a month. We're going to see how that goes. We select our networking partners based on the community's feedback around who they would like to get to know a little bit better. And we introduce or bring the BIPOC community to institutions that want to connect with the BIPOC community, so we serve a mutual need. With that, if you don't know about Third Place, you can find us on the internet. I'm not going to talk about it tonight. This evening is about the Roux Institute, and so I'm going to pass it over to Margaret.
Adilah, thank you, and thank you for wanting to host one of your events here. If many of you, if you don't know Adilah, she's incredible, and as we launched in January of 2020, and we've been trying to get the word out about everything that we do with lots of different kinds of organizations, and many people said, you gotta meet Adilah. You gotta meet Adilah. And so it really is thrilling to finally have the opportunity to welcome Adilah and the Third Place community here to the Roux Institute. My name is Margaret Angell. I'm the head of partnerships and strategic initiatives, and it's my job to introduce the Roux Institute to you. And I was joking that it's like almost 6 o'clock on a Friday, so I don't know if you're gonna get work Margaret or fun Margaret. So I'm just like, I really want to be fun Margaret. I'm gonna try and keep it a little bit serious. But we launched, and our mission is to be an opportunity engine for the state of Maine. And we believe that economic opportunity and economic growth is going to come from the technology, digital engineering, and advanced life sciences sectors. And the question is, how does our community get a piece of that action? And the truth is that the Maine economy is aging. Sorry, Jill. It is not particularly diverse, and it is sector dependent on sectors that are not growing very quickly. And so, how are we as a community going to get and harness the power of these growth industries? And so, that's our mission. And so we were very lucky and blessed to have a $100 million philanthropy to launch a de novo world-class university in Portland. And Northeastern came here to do it. And I want to start with Northeastern as a global network, because right now we have campuses in 14 cities around the world. For the first time this fall, we had large undergraduate groups in California and Boston and London. And we have graduate students in 13 campuses, and we have a couple research campuses. This is first and foremost an extraordinary network that we can draw from to support ventures, students, researchers here in Maine. So when you think of the Roux Institute, the first thing I want you to think about is that we're connected to the global university system. And when you walk in the doors here, you're walking in the doors of Northeastern University. So what do we do here? We do 3 things. We do graduate education, we do research, and we do entrepreneurship. On the graduate education side, We do a number of different things. One, think of sort of your regular master's programs. You're going to hear from one of our student ambassadors who's going to tell you about his experience in the Aligned Masters in Computer Science. We also have certificate programs. We have professional masters and certificates where the majority of our students are working adults, and all the classes are in the evening. You're going to hear from a professor who teaches in those programs. And then we also partner with companies to provide courses and learning experiences for employees. So if any of you work at companies and you are itching for some learning and development for your teams, we can do that too. And today we've done courses for about 900 employees of our corporate partners, and we have about 500 graduate students enrolled at the Roux Institute. So we do graduate education. Second thing we do is research. And on the research side, we're building new research centers that are part of the Northeastern Research Network here. And then we're also bringing researchers from Boston to expand their research footprint into Portland. So an example here in new that we're building here, we're building the Experiential AI Institute, and an Institute for Human Data Interaction, Computational Medicine Research Institute. But then we're working with our colleagues in Boston to bring the Robotics Institute up here, the Robotics Lab up here, Network Sciences up here. So again, we're trying to use the power of Northeastern to expand the opportunities that are here in Maine. So we do research, and then on entrepreneurship, we do both education entrepreneurship and entrepreneurship. So if you're curious about starting a new business, you can come get an experience on our campus. And also we go out into the community around the state of Maine to get people interested in starting new businesses. And then once you have an idea, we run our venture creation programs. And in those programs, our entrepreneurs who come onto campus, Michael right here is one of them. I'm trying to give an example of each of them. Founded a company called Ethiopay, and Wendy's going to talk more about the entrepreneurship programs a little bit later. So we do learning, we do research, and we do entrepreneurship, and we do all of it in partnership with companies and academic institutions and community partners. And I want to introduce Alicia Jalbert, who's our manager of community partnerships. And Alicia's mission really is to break down all the barriers that anybody has to accessing these great opportunities. So that's everything from sending our computer science faculty into high schools to talk about careers in computer science. We host students on campus. We're doing some ideas in robotics for the elementary students, all the way to trying to find new networks of people that might not know about what we're doing here and inviting them in and welcoming them on campus. So that's what we do now. I don't know if some of you have seen, but we have a new campus. We purchased the B&M Big Bean site, which is 13 acres. When we hope to be here in the fall of 2026, and when we move there, think about 2,000 graduate students, about 2,000 employees of our corporate partners taking courses with us, about 75 companies coming through our venture creation program every year, and a research enterprise on the order of $20 or $25 million in research every year. Think that sort of scale of what we're doing. And then this is where we're going to be. And so this is what we hope it will look like in 2026. This is massing studies that give you a sense. But we hope to have a 250,000 square foot academic building. The old Bean building, which has, we just got landmark status for, will be our venture creation building. So all the startups will be there. And then the buildings on the left are graduate student housing, faculty housing. So we hope that when we move in, we'll have about 250 units of housing for people on campus. I think one of the fun things about the campus is that it's been a closed facility for 125 years. And when we move in, it will be a public facility. And you can read in the fine print on all the materials that have been submitted to the City Council, but we've committed to having at least 3 acres of open community park, including along the water. And we will then connect under Two Peace Bridge, so the bike path will go around the cove and then under and around our campus. So you'll be able to walk and bike. We'll have places to have a cup of coffee, have a drink. And so we hope that this is really a public place for the city to gather. And so that's where we plan to be in 2026. And I'll end my spiel, which is to say that when we move into the campus, it is open to the public. And if there's one thing that I would like all of you to take away from tonight, it's that our doors are open. And whether you're interested in education now or for your friends or later, come. We have open houses all the time for students. We are always recruiting new staff members, and our entrepreneurship programs are always looking for people, mentors, as well as participants. There's lots of ways to get engaged at the Roux Institute, and if we are here to build a thriving, diverse, and inclusive tech economy, and everybody in this room has a role and a place to play in that. And I want you to know that our doors are open, and we hope that this is the first of many, many times that you come and visit us and find a way to be part of our growing community. With that, I have a set of folks who I would like to come on up here and just introduce themselves. They each sort of represent a part of our mission in our community, and have them introduce themselves, and then they'll be here to answer any questions, whether it's about the education opportunities or the student experience or the entrepreneurship programs. And so I'm going to have, can you guys come on up here?
First.
Hello everyone, my name is Reem Gohar, and I am originally from Egypt. I just want to tell a little bit of story about myself. So I moved to the US in 2000, and people always ask me, why did you move to the US? I always say that I looked around me one time in Egypt, everybody was Egyptian. Well, kind of so boring for me. So I just unpacked and I came. That's how much I love diversity. I just love diversity. I believe this is how we grow, and I love seeing people from all over the world. And I landed in California. I was in California until last month. I was an IT project manager there, and I moved last month just to work for the Roux Institute, because I believed so much in the vision and mission of the Roux. It's like a dream come true to me. Like their vision and mission is like, you know, economic development in Maine, transforming lives, unleashing people's potential, and living in diversity as well. And you can look at me that they really don't just walk the walk, talk the talk, but they walk the walk as well. And we have a different philosophy in teaching. So I teach in the project management program, I teach in the master's in the graduate level. And most of our classes, or all of our classes, are geared towards working professionals. So we have our classes in the evening, and even though I'll be in the class teaching in person, if somebody can't make it for family obligations or work, they can just zoom in, and they're having the exact same experience. And what differentiates us from other schools is all our faculty, they are coming with industry experience. So it is not just like academic or theoretical, and I love this part. And we also bring some projects, because like in project management, for example, you cannot just read the book or take a class and become a project manager. It's something that is learned by doing. So we bring projects in the classes. This is why we really welcome all the partnerships. Like we like, you know, to have like real life experience where students have hands-on. So I really welcome you all, and I hope like one day you can either invite people, or you, if you want to become friends, students or instructors or partners to bring us projects, and we can all partner towards the economic development of Maine. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Jonathan. I wanted to see these statistics because it says there are 15% of the folks who go here identify as person of color, 15%. I think the national average is 18%, national average. So we're not badly off from the national average, -3, but we want to grow these numbers, right? We want to grow these numbers. What 15% means is if I have a class of 30 students, exactly 3 or 3.5, we need to that, they are going to be people of color, right? And I would want to grow that, those numbers because national average does not actually represent what the population actually looks like in general. Anyway, my name is Jonathan. I'm originally from Kenya, so people who know Kenya understand my accent. And I teach computer science. In computer science, we learn about theory of computing, how to design computer systems, how to prove that they work correctly and they give the right results, etc. I also teach data science, which means that we extract meaning from data. And apart from teaching the classroom, I also teach to companies. For example, I just finished a course with IDEX teaching how to incorporate machine learning in the product workflow. And therefore, if you're interested in these kind of things, I would be happy to chat about them.
So my name is Chris Barnes. I am a computer scientist. I did the Align in computer science. I moved to Maine about 4 years ago, reluctantly. I was at a crossroads in my career and moved here and was trying to figure out what I was going to do. I was working for the National Park Service for about 10 years and didn't think that was going to be my full-time career going forward. So I was like, okay, moving to Maine, what am I going to do? Started looking at different educational opportunities. And frankly, there wasn't at the higher educational level. So I was actually commuting down to Boston for an entire year before the Roux came along. And my background, like my undergrad's in economics, and I've always had kind of an interest in computer science. I've programmed a little bit within my career, and then found out about the Roux Institute opening up and had no clue that you could get a master's degree without having an undergrad in computer science. And that's what the program I did, which is Align. So you do a full year kind of getting you up to speed to get you into the program. So super rigorous, all these programming languages to get you up to speed to get into a master's program. So I jumped on the opportunity with the scholarships that they were offering and everything else. It was absolutely a wonderful experience. I think someone said I was the first person to ever apply. I'm not sure I'm going to run with that apocryphal story. But it's been an absolutely wonderful experience. Through the Roux Institute, again, connection with Margaret. I got a software engineer internship this summer. I've been working with them throughout the semester. Meeting with them next week, hopefully getting a full-time offer. It's been an absolutely wonderful experience so far. Thanks.
That's awesome. Hi everyone, I'm Marcia Raleigh. I'm a visiting professor here at the Roux, and I've been here for about 3 months. I came from Worcester Polytechnic Institute in Worcester, Mass., where I've had a 15-year career as a professor in biomedical engineering, and had the opportunity to work with the Director of Life Science and Engineering, Adilah Muhammad, developing some programs that will help to grow the biotechnology industry in the state. So the specific project I'm working on is a collaboration with the University of Southern Maine to try to provide some space, co-working space for companies in the biotechnology industry, startups or companies who could take advantage of cell molecular biology, which has a lot of expensive equipment. There isn't a lot of space for companies in these sectors in the state to get started. And there aren't a lot of places for students and interns and trainees we're talking about to get excited about these fields and to see the opportunities that they have for them. So I'm bringing my faculty experience and my research experience, which is mainly in cell engineering, tissue engineering, to the Roux in partnership with Dr. Chris Okonkwo, who's an assistant professor in the biotechnology department here, who has incredible experience in agricultural biotechnology. And so he's already established a laboratory space at USM. So as you walk around and do the tour here, you'll see we don't really have, and somebody asked what is wet lab space, we were talking earlier. It's really, if you're doing anything with biology, chemistry, biotechnology, you need a specific type of space. You can't just roll up with your computer and and do the work that you need to do to reduce your product to practice. So what we're doing with this unique collaboration is USM has some space that they're allowing us to utilize. What we want to do is have a co-working space with startup companies, so these companies have a place to work, and we also have more places and more opportunity for students to do projects and get excited about this field. So really, overall, there's a lot of things going on in life science and engineering, but that's specifically what I'm working on. But we also have master's programs in biotechnology, bioinformatics, many other programs. Again, I haven't been here very long, so I don't have the whole list memorized yet. But really, again, looking to engage students at all ages in this exciting field that's growing really rapidly and offering the opportunity to make unique products and make an impact in the world and give opportunities for people in these exciting new careers. So if you have any interest in any of that, I'd be also very interested in anyone's experience they have with the co-working space. Because that's not something I have a lot of experience with, but we're hoping to really, create a community of entrepreneurs and researchers and students who are really driving this exciting field that's growing rapidly in the state. So thank you all for being here. It's been wonderful.
So my name is Wendy Blackwell-Moore. I lead the entrepreneurship group here. What that means to you is essentially if you have an idea, if you want to consider how an idea might turn into a prototype, if you want to go from prototype to incubation, or actually reside in a place that can provide a support system to you to actually create and start a company, we have that full suite available to you. So one program I want to highlight specifically that Adilah is attached to is our founder residency. So this is a residency where we co-locate startup companies here at the Roux. The first 3 months of that 12-month program is an intensive sort of mentor matching, programming, facilitating support and guidance around the entrepreneurial ecosystem to help companies thrive and grow. The next 9 months are really supporting you get the investment you need to help you last and survive into the next stage of your company. Adilah is part of that. She's part of the advisory committee that sort of evaluates the startups who are looking to come into the program and helps us determine who's the best fit. Of our founders here, we have 35 companies to date in our portfolio. 84% of those companies are led by a BIPOC or female founder. So we have a vested interest in diversifying the state of Maine and helping it grow in a way that we can all be proud of, quite frankly, to make a difference in the next level. So there's lots more I can tell you. If you're interested in the startup ecosystem or entrepreneurship, please come find me. I'll be here the remainder of the evening. And I think that's the close of this part.
Because nothing worse than coming to a networking event and seeing people and never getting to them or not knowing who's in the room. But before we do that, we're going to pass the mic eventually. Before you do that, on the tables, there's a QR code for our online network. So when you meet someone at these networking events, ideally we would like for you to scan that code, join the online network so that you can continuously connect with the people who are in the room. Right now, there are 49 people on it right now. Before this evening is over, it would be very nice to have at least 20 more people join. And that's how we stay connected throughout the state. We have people the part of this network as far away as Presque Isle, and we want to make sure that they're able to connect with people on a continuous basis as well. So with that, I also just want to say that was not fun, Margaret. If there was a competition, I think Reem would win. So I'm going to be hanging out with you a lot. Good choice.
I can take the feedback.
Good choice. So I'm going to pass the mic to you first. Oh wait, and keep it brief, please, people. Name, where you live, where you work, and a passion. Under 20 seconds.
Yeah, good afternoon, Chief and everyone. I'm Adilah Flynn, University of Southern Maine. I live in Wyndham. I'm new to Maine, my second year here.